Wow, how cool! Can you show your masterpiece? Is it some kind of paint or what?
I've never sold wheat so expensive before.
Yeah, easier said than done. 140,000 crosses. I just don't understand. How do you live there? Hello, I am Yevhen Synelnykov, professional wanderer. In 10 years, I've traveled half the world and all of Ukraine. Friends often ask if I ever get bored. And the answer is that the most interesting things are in the journeys, are the people. They are always inventing and doing something new. Whether they are preserving the traditional or creating, changing and adding. In short, I'm on the road again in Ukraine, looking for cool small manufacturers. These are my new craft wanderings. What do we know about the Carpathians? Firstly, this mountain system spans across Ukraine, Hungary, Czech Republic, Poland, Slovakia, Romania, Serbia, Moldova, and Austria, and is not just a collection of mountains. Secondly, there is a football club, Carpathians, from Lviv. And thirdly, it's beautiful here. And how crafty are these Carpathians? We will find out. Cool! Carpathians, in my opinion, is the most crafty region of Ukraine. There are almost no large factories here, so everything that is made in the Carpathians is handmade, and that means it's crafty. It's clear that it's impossible to fit all Carpathian crafts into one issue. This time I came to the Kosiv district of the city, because here I found a person who knows everything about local manufacturers. Let's get acquainted.
I'm Ole, I'm a Hutsul craftsman.
We met with Oleg in the mountains, in a place called Didova Hachina. What's happening here? How are you doing?
Well, it's great, as you see. We are experiencing such massive changes. We are changing a lot in this space. But our station has been working in this format since the spring of this year.
Tell me overall, where are we?
We are in the village of Yevhen near Voronikiv. This is my ancestral place. 5 generations of my grandfathers lived here, and I came here in 2015 with the intention of developing some space here. We call ourselves a place where living tradition thrives.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you already have a cheese factory?
Yes, the cheese factory is in fact the last building we constructed. And all those buildings that are there on the garden plot, they were all built here in 2016-17. There is a copy of that hut, which was here, my grandfather's. Well, we also built a barn there. It had a multifunctional purpose and a bathhouse. As for the buildings, I think that's about it. And right now we are reworking all the plans within the framework of the buildings and creating more comfortable conditions, because the iteration that lasted 5 years is already ending and we need to somehow rethink this place.
And why are you doing all this?
This is some kind of quintessence of all my activities, because when I came here there was absolutely nothing. I realized that this place has a particularly miraculous impact on me. And from there, these ambitious projects were born, which we are immediately pushing and implementing, such as Gushka, where we will be with you today. This is the production of woolen blankets, traditional rugs called liznik. Yavoriv, this is a village where this craft is traditionally represented. And also brinza, selling brinza, like we started to actively engage with this project from March as well. So all these projects are growing from this place. We have been dealing with sheep for a long time. We had a small number of them. We kept a herd of about 10-25 sheep here. And mostly it was for them to maintain this mountain. They kept it clean. They were like biogas cutters. They functioned like biobots, simply incredible creations. They almost mow all the grass except for fern, maybe, and nettle. They deal with all these bushes very well. And later, already this year, We first tried to organize such a mini meadow because it's important to call it a full-fledged meadow because there are high mountains for this. But this is enough to recreate the process of traditional meadow management.
I am Kolya, I make craft cheese.
How do you do this? What's the process?
Get up at 5 in the morning, feed them. This lower house is called an ukil and the rain protector is called povernik. One of us would drive them out and the other would milk them. I'm usually milking and the boys are driving away. Then we make cheese. The cheese has to stand for about 4 or 5 days at home, and then you can make brinza. It has to be dry so it doesn't spoil. Then we grind, stir the cheese, add salt and pack it into wooden barrels. It can stand there for half a year. It acquires a wonderful taste.
And what's the fun in them being so high in the mountains?
What's the fun? The fact that the most valuable herbs are in the mountains.
They say you were working abroad but returned.
Yes, I returned. I was also working with cows. I'm a veterinarian myself. I really love this. This is my job.
And what's the main point?
What's the main point? It's good here, very good, great atmosphere, great air, breeze.
And this is essentially a test year. We're just trying, there are ambitions to increase the volume a bit next year and go with a different approach because we have already tested, in principle, the place for grazing, looked at how they will behave here. We could not foresee this all without having tried. And since we have already started selling such a product, I really like to know what I am selling. And it was a great pleasure to dive as deep as possible. In general, we try to dig deep into things that we offer to our target audience. We try to understand them as much as possible and understand this product as much as possible. And with cheese, with the brinza, the same thing happens. So this is a test.
Could you tell me more about how you recruit people here? For example, Kolya went to the Czech Republic, worked there as a cheesemaker or something, and then returned. And he said, Olle dragged me here. How did it happen? Why did you choose him?
This happens absolutely natural. Those are the people that we somehow attract with our activity. They are around us. We don't drag anyone by force. I knew Kolya for a very long time. He once came to the sheep shearing, and I noticed that this man, he loves this job. And this job is his life, it's in his blood. And I noticed that fact and kept it in my head. 2 years later, when we were planning to open a meadow, I thought about him again and asked the villagers here about where he is now. They said he's working in the Czech Republic. I called him on Viber with a job offer, and I tried to offer him good conditions for which he would return from the Czech Republic here. And conducting such activity here, in my opinion, to which he is born. Overall, he's that kind of a character. I like to say that he's my best find of year 2021.
Our hut and our, so to speak, working room.
Listen, how do you live here? It's so smoky here.
Well, they say that smoked meat lasts longer, so we live longer.
Well, then tell me, what is it and how does it work?
In the first process, we add the evening milk. We add the evening milk, then we add the morning milk. We heat it to a temperature, approximately to the body temperature of the animal, 38 degrees. Then we add the starter. It has to catch for an hour. We cover it, it catches for an hour. We pick the cheese, and the way that remains, we put it back on the water, and then it needs to be stirred all the time so that it does not burn here. It adjusts on all sides. Here, there, here.
Oh, cool.
Then we put this cheese that we take. We put cheese there in the corner. We put it there until the next morning. And early we put it up there.
And now it's fermenting there?
Yes, it's been fermenting there for 4 or 5 days.
Wow, beautiful.
And tasty.
How much cheese do you make? How much does it yield per year?
Well, it's pretty impossible to say about this cheese.
Okay, what about this?
This one, approximately 5-6 kilograms.
Listen, it's really smoky here. How is it for you? Doesn't it burn in your eyes there? No, it doesn't burn. I don't shed any tears. I can't even breathe here.
Well, that's just a habit of mine.
Let's go to the door. This is awful. I just don't understand. How do you live there?
We are not living there for very long. 4 or 5 months. The rest we spend at home.
Well, it's not long, yeah. Why do you get involved in such difficult construction? Searching for people's sheep cheese. What do you need that for?
These are genuine things. All this difficulty is worth getting this feedback. This is a return on investments. It just doesn't translate into monetary equivalent. When I climb this hill, just as we are standing now, I look at all this, and today I get all the same feelings I had 6 years ago. This is a real emotion for me. This emotion remains constant, enduring, and unchanging. Because, well, a person cannot be compared to God, and everything that is on this earth is temporary and capital, already created. We can only create temporary things here. When talking about economics and money and the economic output from all of this, I realized that projects based on donations, on parasitizing on other profitable projects, don't live very long. And this value that I feel here today, and the value of the fact that I don't want to see service here, when people come here, we allow them to live near us. To use what we use, but that doesn't mean I'm going to serve them in any way. That is, I see in this space a format such that, say, bring your own, be it a spoon, bring your own dishes, bring wood if needed, and take there yourself what you need.
Touch the authentic life.
And live with us, for a fee, of course. We will allow those who will have such a desire to live with us, to live near us. And it seems to me that this corresponds more to the nature of the Hutsuls, to treat people like guests, not like clients. That's why it's about tradition, because it's more relevant to the local culture here. The same goes for mutual respect.
Honestly, Ole has been leading me around for a long time and talking about how everything is done here and what will be done. He really loves this place, but it's good that there is editing and we can move on to the next craft.
We have reached the most interesting, in my opinion, project, which shows how modern and traditional can be combined. I praise this whole project because I am one of the co-founders of this project, haha. And my wife is our designer, our creator, the developer of all our carpets. And not just carpets, also Liuba, our neighbor. And Mikola, this is essentially the same team.
So wait, did you start a business with your neighbor? Yes.
Yes.
Because she's neat, because she's cool. How did it happen?
Firstly, she's a carrier of the culture. She weaves in the 3rd generation, which genetically carries this craft and continues it. She made a living there in the hut. This is one of the examples of that distant transition about which I can speak authoritatively because it's already some rural level, elongated and processed work on which I can rely.
Listen, tell me, here you are, a successful businessman. Let's say so. You have a wife, you start a new business. And then you take a partner? Why not hire that person on salary? Why did you decide to take her as a partner? Why?
Because first of all, she's not just a weaver, she's a master. And there are many weavers, but few masters, and that's a great value here. I wanted our cooperation to be equally valuable, not just have her as an ordinary employee.
And what does it change?
She's on our team, changing everything. This is partially her business, and she takes it as her own, just like me, Darina, and Mikola. So we are together. I really love partnership. The case of partnership is my case. I've been studying it for a long time, and I can give lectures on partnership. I had different examples of partnership, both successful and not. That's why I love working in partnership. Working in partnership is far more interesting.
I'm Darina, a designer of Carpathian craft rugs.
What is Gushka?
Gushka?
Yes, the very name. What is it exactly?
It's a type of thread used during weaving. Let me show you. Here it is.
Wow, lots of people make carpets, but this gushka is different. Well, it's not carpets, it's gushkas. How did it happen?
Well, I think the main reason is that there are 4 of us in the team and all 4 people are absolutely different. Someone of a creative mindset, someone more pragmatic. And because we all turned out this way, it became a perfect symbiosis. And the factory carries something more with it, more than just production.
You're telling about your inner story, but what's in it for me, the client, the outside of this story?
Everyone sees it differently, sometimes not knowing what's behind the scenes. Looking at this production, one might think, oh, there's something much more valuable behind it. And for everyone, it's their own. For some, it's tradition. For some, it's manual labor. For some, it's because it's Ukrainian. For some, it's because it resonates with our history, with our Didova Hachina. Everyone has their own story.
For some, design resonates, right?
Yes, yes.
How is this design developed? There it's flat, here it's like this, here with peaks, here there are many inputs. What does it look like here in general? Is this some kind of computer model? How do you do this?
I look for something in nature first. As inspiration, I take it in, then I transfer this by hand into some kind of sketch. I come to our Luba, the production manager, and say, look, I want something like this. She says, it won't work this way, but it will work that way. It can be this way, but not that way. I go further, thinking about how I can do it so that it fully responds to my perception of what it is in nature. I come back to Luba again, ask her whether it's okay. She approves, and we begin production with the first prototypes being made. We found this sketch in the village of Babin.
Wow, how cool. Let's lay it out. It's not a carpet, it's a liznik, right?
Yes, it's a traditional Hutsul quilt, which is called liznik.
So it's a cover for the bed?
Traditionally, it served as a cover. There used to be stories that the bedspread was 4 to 5 meters long. It served as kind of a sleeper bag. They would fold part of it under their head, then lie down and cover themselves with the end.
Look, how cool. This is wool.
Wool, yes. This is from a sheep, sheared fleece. There are such important properties of wool as thermoregulation. In hot weather, it's cool. In cold weather, it's warm. Such a wonderful organic material.
So you're saying you can walk in this both in the summer and in the winter?
Well, I wouldn't recommend it for the summer, but absolutely for the fall and spring.
Cool for parties. That's also an old clothing, right? Gunya?
Yes, but it's more of a Carpathian outfit, not Hutsul. Even in Hutsulshchina, they started to wear it in such a way in the 20th century, after certain reinterpretations of the form.
I think it's very fashionable right now. No, it's too hot for summer. Isn't it super cool? Dimitro, help me. Which one do you like more, this one or this one?
This one?
Yes? Good. And how many years would it serve as a rug on the floor?
I mean, if you don't do a chemical cleaning, if you use properly taken care of, then it can be used for 50 years as a rug.
And that's normal.
Okay, I'm convinced I need it. Speaking of Visa and Visisvoy, I want to thank you for the opportunity to make my home unique. Well, it took me further, to such a master that I couldn't predict meeting. That's why skilled craftsmen are needed.
I'm Yuri and I make bells.
Can you show me your workshop?
I won't show it because everything is a mess there. I'm moving. I'm going to build now. Everything is a mess there. Once I get things in order...
But I want to see how you do it.
I'll tell you here about how I do it.
Good, but we'll still sneak a peek.
I have a terrible mess there. I tell you, because I don't have enough time to clean up. You see, I do such forms here.
Wow. How cool.
This is for the cow. Listen to the voices in this one. These bells are like this. In the Carpathians, they are called klin. This is a klin, and these are harbusi. This is a harbus, and this is a klin. I do some bells with this metal. Still have it from the Soviet Union times. I hammer this metal, and it rings nicely.
Could you do this one for me too?
This collection, sure, but it'll be ready by winter then, okay?
Okay.
If fine work is to be done, I need to be very calm, not to be disturbed by anyone. Because you have to put your soul into it.
Dear viewers, we are witnessing the birth of a new collaboration right now, and new products will be created as a result. That's cool. How much does this beautiful one cost?
This beautiful one costs 1,000 hryvnias. A black one will be expensive, because brass is expensive. A kilogram of brass costs 250 hryvnias. You know, the black metal is cheaper. Nobody makes brass bells here but me.
And the little ones like this?
I will give you this one as a gift.
Oh no, I just wanted to know the price. So it's quite expensive if I want to get one for each sheep, each cow.
Expensive, yes.
But why would you hang it on every single one of them?
This is my worker's wish.
Yeah.
This is his way of working.
So that the bell ringing would please him.
There has to be a bell on every sheep's neck. This is Mikola's command. I execute it strictly. As an employer who cares about his employee.
How did it happen that you started dealing with such a matter?
I don't know why, but I've loved it since I was a kid. Really loved bells. And I wanted to learn how to make them, but there were no such people who would offer to teach me. I went to serve in the army, came back, and this love for it did not fade in me.
Have you been crafting bells for 20, 30 years?
Well, not quite, but you could say about 10 years it's been constant. I was just an enthusiast then, but now... And now I already have my
Own business.
Well, not a business, but a financial support, enough to make a living. It's not a business, it comes from the soul, but it's something you have to love.
Yes.
Because every bell has its own sound. It's made immediately with a finger. This is first sound and then its echo. And this one's for you.
Thank you!
Mr. Cameraman.
Great, thank you very much.
I am Bodan Petrichuk. I sew old Hutsul shirts.
I knew about Bodan from my last trip to the Carpathians. We didn't manage to meet then, but it turned out that Bodan is Ole's godfather. It seems like the puzzle has come together. What have you done in this room? What is this?
Oh, I've been collecting old things since childhood. From a young age, as far as I can remember, I've always been fascinated by antiques. When my grandfather died, he left me this house and I've been into antiques ever since. Because this house is so old, just as it should be, I've moved all my antiques here.
Ole tells me that I can ask you about everything that concerns Hutsulshchina.
You can.
Who is a Hutsul? Or how do I say it correctly? Hutsul!
Hutsul...
Hutsul. Who is that anyway?
I don't know, we've just been living here.
It's just you, right?
Yes, to the point, yes. All my relatives were Hutsuls. As far as I know, and I know my 6 generations, they were Hutsuls.
How did it happen that there is a different language here?
And 3 kilometers behind the hill is another language.
How so? Should everyone live on their own hill?
The way I speak, only 7 villages speak.
And that's it?
Yes.
Wow.
Some aspects, such as specific words used in villages, may vary slightly between villages, despite the overall similarities. And for if I will be talking to a man from Kosiv, for example, or from Pishtin, then the accent will be different.
Therefore, by the way a person speaks, you can understand where he is from.
For example, in Verkhovina, they speak differently. I will listen to how he speaks, and I will say, you are from up above. So Verkhovenshchina is up from us, and Rivnina is down. And we are in the middle.
Cool, it's complicated, but cool.
Such a big collection, but they are all different. Because every Hutsul girl wanted to stand out from the rest. This is pattern from the middle of the 19th century. It's been here for 50 years, maybe even more.
150 years?
Yep.
And this is from another region, right?
It's the same village. This is Babian village, but it's an interwar period. After the First World War, we were occupied by Poland. For 20 years, we were occupied by Poland. And Poland has strong trade ties with France, and the DMC company threads have entered our market. And we know that there is a great variety in the choice of colors. So in the 20s and 30s, Hutsul embroidery became very colorful.
And please, tell about the hats.
This is a factory-made Czech hat, but it is made of wooden shavings. These two are factory-made Czech, and this one is homemade.
Oh, I like this one more. Crafty.
But these were more expensive. Everything purchased in Hutsuls was more expensive. So Hutsul's money were molding out. So nobody used money. They had little need for money.
And what's here?
I have serdaks here.
Serdak?
This serdak.
Can I wear it?
Yes. This is a local one. The red one is named a Krashnik since it was colored. Before World War I, they were fashionable. You know what they say about the white crow? Nobody has seen it. The same can be said about this serdak. Because there are 5 serdaks in the world.
A rarity indeed.
And there aren't many of the red ones either.
Have you ever thought about how much your collection is worth?
No, I don't know a lot, but I don't know how much.
Never thought about selling everything and moving to, let's say, Miami?
No, I definitely won't go to Miami.
Well, okay, to Odessa or somewhere near the sea?
I don't need to go to Odessa. I've already been there and seen it. It's stuffy there. There's nothing to do there.
What do you get from this?
I love creating these, copying it. And I learned to copy them through restoring old shirts. I restored them first, then started sewing.
Can you show your shirts that you sew?
Well, this shirt is going to Kharkiv. And this one is vintage, original, So
this one is vintage, original, and this is your replica. You're emphasizing the respect for the vintage patterns, right?
Patterns, techniques, etc. This involves a lot of manual work. I ordered this embroidery from the embroiderer. I'm not an embroiderer, I'm more of a designer and tailor.
Wow, that's cool.
This is a very antique shirt, it's ours, local. This one is incredibly cool. I am yet to send it, but there are 140,000 cross stitches made by hand. And that's just the sleeves.
140,000 crosses.
It's bought once in a lifetime. You get married and then keep it until death. Even in death, our people need to stay beautiful.
To me, bridges like this symbolize Carpathians. If you'll be passing along them, make a stop and take a walk. It's worth it. By the way, about symbols. Look, here in me there is a Carpathian inscription, and here there is nothing. But something has to be there. Friends, come up with a cool print about the Carpathians, write it in the comments, and we will choose the best one. Write in the comments, and we will choose one. Not only Oleg knows about Carpathian craft, my friends from the platform Visisvoy advised me to go to Rishka. This is a village. They say interesting people live there. Well then, let's get going.
I'm Vlad. I make tableware out of wood.
Listen, how do you do this black part? Is this some kind of paint or what?
No, I don't use any stains, paints, or dyes in my work. The black comes from the fact that I char it.
That's charred wood. And how does it not catch fire?
It's very simple. You burn the top layer, then remove the top layer, but you need to balance it so that only the dark burnt color remains and it doesn't get smeared.
Why don't you use chemicals bleach, the things that everyone uses?
I want to take the most ecological approach possible to this. Pure wood, nothing glued, nothing added, just as it is.
And this, it seems, is completely burnt. It doesn't even look real. How much does such a thing cost?
Well, salad bowls from 1,200 to 2,000 hryvnias and more.
This one, for example, the black one? No, not this one. This one? This one is 1,600 hryvnias. 1,600. And this one?
This one is 1,800.
The spoon, it has such a sharp shape. It's unusual. This one looks more like an ordinary spoon to me. This one is so round, but I find it really cool. Are these some old forms or your experiments?
There are such moments when I'm doing something and I'm like, it will be this way because I want it this way. It's more about self-expression, self-realization to say that you see it this way and according to you, it should look like this.
Well, can this be bought? Is it sold here? You don't just make these for yourself, do you?
They can be bought, but it's very limited.
Not a mass market production? How much does it cost?
350 hryvnias for a spoon.
What were you doing before you started doing this?
At one moment of our lives, when we were still living in Kyiv, we wanted a quieter life because you get very busy going home from work, back and forth, and you don't see life itself. And then we decided to move to a smaller town, Mukachevo, in Zakarpattia. And there we went to the mountains, and we thought that the next point should be somewhere in the mountains, so that there would not be a single house around us, so that there would be a view of the mountains themselves. Well, so after 2 years, we ended up here.
Don't you get an urge to return to the big city?
I think people that end up living here all like seclusion. When we moved, and still to this day, people here say, wow, you're young people who wanted to live here in Bruzny. This is how our ridge is called Bruzny, because of Scots. Because people go from here, they want to live in the city, they want those benefits, but you moved here and that's amazing. People here are really happy to see young people moving to the village.
And did you buy an old house or build a new one? This is an old house, isn't it?
Yes, it's an old house, not very old by local standards, about 40 years old. When we came here, it seemed that every house has a wood lathe. And most of the time, the whole village was working on making these souvenirs to sell. The village on the other side of the ridge, Shishori, they mostly make cutting boards. In the neighboring village, they make wooden spoons. In Yavoriv, they make Lizhnik rugs. And in Kuti, there's something else. And so various crafts are scattered throughout the villages.
And how do you sell them?
Let's say I do everything so that they don't sell. That's my marketing strategy. Show as little as possible and tell as little as possible about what it is. People just find these products somehow. Well, that's what I want. I have a very high barrier to entry for my clients, and I like it because I know that what I do where I put a lot of time is worth it. I want to know that these things will be bought by people who will get some satisfaction from it.
This is an interesting perspective. So it's not even a given that you'll sell it to me if I want to buy it? Oh, cool spoon, I want it, give it to me. That won't work on you?
Honestly, there's always not enough products to sell. I don't have enough time to produce as many as there is demand for. Well, in general, there's rarely anything in stock. Right now, it's all here just because I haven't photographed it and shown it to people.
So, I know that people can come here to stay and live with you for some time. These are the huts for these staycations, right? One hut.
And we have another floor in our house, which we planned for up to 3 people to stay in.
It's very high, it's a long walk. There's no parties, no bars, not very touristy.
That's exactly the philosophy, that it's not a place for those who like to ride jeeps and listen to jizyo music, drinking liters of beer. This is not about commerce, it's about coming here and resting more with your head, your mind. From time to time, there's an urge to go to the city, enjoy its benefits. But every time, when you get there, you quickly get tired and you already want to return here. And you look at everything from a new perspective. It's like a never-ending vacation, and that's really cool. That's the mood here.
Friends, a little off-topic conversation. It may seem that it was me who found all these craftsmen, all these hard-working people. But in reality, we have friends, we have partners. They are called Vysysvoy, and they are the true connoisseurs of Ukrainian crafts. Vysysvoy, this is a platform that has united the top Ukrainian craftsmen. And if you don't have time to travel around Ukraine, but you want to buy something, then here you can feel the Ukrainian craft on your own skin. If you still haven't figured out why we moved to Kiev from the Carpathians, I'll tell you. Here in the store, I have a meeting with a real Carpathian craftswoman, the author of the Shkura brand.
I'm Alicia. I make Ukrainian craft clothing.
Well, this technique, it's distinctly Ukrainian, you can see it. Even though it's designer clothes, it's purely Ukrainian.
Yes, because this is the technique called liznikarstvo. This might not be a new weaving technique. This is a common weaving technique. Of course, you can thread new threads, weave some kind of fabric, weave with the same weaving, but it's about other wool, other water. These are sheep from another environment. A lot of different sheep breeds. I follow different weavers and their techniques all over the world, how it is built in Europe, how it is built in Nepal, different kinds of wool they use, different kinds of animals. This is very different wool. Even wool in Ukraine is different. Carpathian, Bukovina, Romanian wool. These are very different sheep. These breeds of sheep are different. I can distinguish them sometimes. This is a Carpathian sheep. That's Romanian because it's long, the yield is soft, because the wool is very long.
Is the main client Ukrainian or foreign?
If we take offline sales, when a person came, tried it, then bought it, obviously these are mostly coming from Ukrainians. But if we take online sales, people who look at us on the website, on international platforms, then obviously these are mostly foreigners. Or people who were most interested in this and said, wow, this must cost a lot more. These are foreigners. When they asked to show them a bit of this process, they were fascinated. But during the last few years, the sales coming from both Ukrainians and foreigners are equal.
This is so cool. It's nice that Ukrainians appreciate Ukrainian crafts.
Yes, it gives us inspiration. When I hear it from people, I really love coming personally to Vysysvoy market, meeting people and talking to them. Everyone wants to know who makes this, to be friends. This is very important because it's such a unique connection. You realize that this person has put together this thread by thread, figured it out in their head, and they will finally have this product.
Many people ask how you came to this, how you chose, how you believed.
It chose me, I didn't choose it. Started marketing at Vysysvoy. I don't remember who told me about this. I was shocked. Oh my God, how? I needed to figure out the name. You have to have an Instagram page, they told me. Mamma mia. Okay, I guess I'll make a sign, a page, a name. It all took me 2 days. And I had already told this story. The name of the brand was just my name since I needed some sign for the market. And I just take the doors off the chicken coop, these little ones with this latch, you know, to lock it. I take a grinder so that everyone can see where the old and the new. I write my name, hang it on a peg and go to Vichy Svoj. Everyone touched it. Because it was obviously very strange.
I know you won the visa competition. Women who started their own brands. What did it give you?
I, for one, did not expect it. Well, of course, I was hoping. But I didn't expect it, to be honest. I remember when they called me and said that I had won. And it was really important, honestly. I remember when my friends came to my workshop and said, Ligia, do you realize how important this is? This is just my story. I didn't make any efforts, just told what is and showed what I do.
And won.
And I won, like that.
That's cool. Where did you spend the money?
The money, we really wanted to spend all the money on a trip. I was already mentioning it, to Nepal. Because we have one project. They have such weaving technology. They make silk caterpillars, and they make wool. We wanted to exchange, knowledge of our techniques. And I wanted to help them make looms, like the ones we have, so that they made things with their own wool.
Wait, what? They don't have such looms as ours?
It's very different. Lots of different techniques there. A lot has been lost there. Women are left without jobs, but they make silk. And you won't believe it. Ukrainians revived silk manufacturing there. They are my friends. And we really wanted to exchange these technologies. Maybe figure out a sensible production for both silk and wool.
So did it work out?
So far it hasn't worked out because this year was very difficult due to these lockdowns, quarantines. And it's still not possible to get to Nepal so easily to spend some time there. But we will definitely do it.
Tell me, how important is quality or marketing?
What should be first and foremost?
This, I think, is a process that must go in parallel. Our buyers are emotionally connected with us. And we really like to do such details, such labels. I still personally stitch the label on each product. We sign cards, we know everyone by name. This is important. We all can't make 50, 20 products a month. This is impossible, That's the number of possible production variants in a year. So things go in parallel. Every product has a passport, always. Yes, every product necessarily has its own serial number. We write down for every product when it was made, look, the date of birth, and even we record what the water temperature was on the day it was brewed. This is all marketing, and this is the connection. This is our connection with our customers. They become part of this process because every product becomes, the creation of this product ends when a person is already wearing it for a week or two. It becomes noticeably softer, it becomes lighter.
How warm it is. Is it a feminine model?
The size probably is not yours.
How do you color them?
When the wool steams on the river, it's dyed right there, directly in the river.
Does it get dyed right on the river?
Exactly. It's boiled in these large vats, we put on rubber boots, stand in the river, and that's how we do it all.
Wait, that's
amber. Every shirt is painted manually, with very nice thoughts during the whole process.
Cool.
So when you wear this shirt, it's impossible not to feel this connection.
Where in the Carpathians did you live? And why are we talking to you in Kyiv right now?
In the capital of Synelnykov, in a famous Yevhen village. It's between Kosiv and Verkhovina. An incredible 10 years, but physically it was a very difficult life. It was a hut where a car couldn't get to. I always had this feeling that no matter what, I don't have to choose where I may be. what I want to do. If I have to do it, I can do it whether in New York or in London. So why should I choose? For me, it's about preserving such freedom. I can be where I want and do what I love. And I think it's proof that anything is possible anywhere. It's just how you figure it out for yourself. All of this is very important. I figured it out for myself and I have it.
Nothing more can be added. So, what comes to mind when we think about Carpathians? There was cheese, there was wool. What else? Right, Carpathian tea. We're going to the mountains to pick herbs. And tell me, please, is there such a thing as Carpathian tea, Carpathian herbs? Indeed, they have such a variety. These herbs that grow here on the mountain, are they different?
I think they are. Firstly, further away from the car roads, further away from the populated areas where there are any settlements.
Production, something like that.
The smoke, some kind of poisonous things. Here, they practically say that tea can be made from anything. Just like that, swing the scythe, take some grass, and you can make tea from it. Speaking of which, I heard one of my acquaintances in Drahobrat say, "I've never sold hay so expensive before." It seems, after mowing, drying, then chopping it all up, sorting it into packets, in the end, you can see how many colorful flowers, calendula, yarrow, and something else, and I sell Carpathian tea.
Really?
Seriously.
And how does it look, Yevhen Chai?
It really likes open spaces. Here's one very small, a couple of sprouts. This is Yevhen Chai. Well, such a glossy one, it doesn't really fit. And here's a good one. And you take the top leaves without this because it's bitter. And the flowers. And these leaves, they are the best for making tea. You pull like this, and there's already a sprout.
Well, it doesn't stink.
Well, it's like any grass. There is some kind of smell.
Like grass, yeah.
You take it and rub it, it's going to give you some juice. It will darken immediately. And there should already be a smell. And when it stands, it will rot a little bit. You have to wait until a very strong, pleasant smell appears, and then it can already be dried. And I also take these little flowers and they color the tea. They also give something. Some are preparing tea and say that their Yevhen tea can be both green and red. So it doesn't look very good, but the smell... Poles are calling it a versbovka, a whisk, because the leaves of Yevhen tea resemble a whisk. Here in the shade, look how dark it is, how dark the leaf is. Because sometimes in the sun it is so dry, but here look how dark the leaves are. That's why I love to collect it, even in the darkest places. Look how many beautiful leaves there are.
Oh, what a magnificent one it was.
Look, a Kalhan. Kalhan, I think it's a Turkish name. Kalhanat, something like that. Its official name is Potentilla erecta. Now it needs to be pruned, those real roots cut off, and this will good for the Kolhanivka.
Okay, let's take it.
Time. Ah! Hutsuls call it chebrik.
Chebrik.
And interestingly, it's not just for tea. They add it to meat dishes, borscht soups. And this is blueberry. They collect its berries, but sometimes they also collect its leaves and stems, which are harmful to nature. Because tea made from blackberry leaves is loved by those who suffer from diabetes.
It used to be thought that the Carpathians were all about winter, snow, and going skiing. But now, it seems to me a lot of tourists have gone here during the summer. Is that true, or just my perception?
It's true. This is the youth that is detached from gadgets, that moves, that doesn't sit somewhere in the bar, that doesn't sit here near the screen but goes forward. You see them and they greet you. Good day, good day. I really love it when they say that we will come again. And I really don't like it when they say we were there once and we won't go to the same place more than once to see lots of places. I say, what, you came to Paris for one day and you will never go to Paris again. Will you see everything in one day? Exactly. We came here right in the summer, almost at the end of summer. You see, the grass is yellowing and you can come in the spring when there is still snow here because this is a shaded side and there are snowdrops growing. There are no crocuses here. There are crocuses, saffron, hyacinths, a very beautiful plant on other ridges. And you go out and everything there is violet. A very nice place. This stream is called Mlinsky. Probably there was a mill here, and another version, maybe there was a stone quarry from which they mined stones for the mill. And this little corner Yasinova, because it belongs to Yasinova, is called Mlinsky. There was a hut. There are still very steep Hutsul slopes on that side. They call it an osidok.
God, it's so cool here.
I love to say volumes of pure air. Lots of it.
I am Jana Mikhelianets. I make carpets.
Yes, a liznik is a liznik, but a rug, as it turns out, is something else. How did it happen with the rugs? How did you start?
Since childhood, I remember knitting with the crochet on needles, sewing, just from childhood. My grandmother was a technologist, a textile worker, the director of a sewing factory. Our whole family was connected with this, with textiles, sewing, threads, constantly. It was so simple to switch from painting, from interior design, to switch to
carpet weaving. I just really like this word.
On this very difficult and somewhat forgotten history at the moment. And it was so interesting because sometimes you feel like you already know everything.
I know that you were not born here. Where are you from?
We came from Crimea.
And how did you end up here? How did it happen? Did you live in Crimea?
It was such a trend. We are going to Europe. And so we went towards Europe.
Towards Europe. Far away from that non-Europe.
Further, closer to the border, so that if anything, you could run away. And another very important point is that there are mountains here. Still, I was born in Crimea. In the plains, it was boring there. And here there are mountains, forests, rivers. The nature here is so diverse, it inspires me a lot. We wanted such a real unity with nature. We don't have gas, for example, right? It doesn't bother me how much it costs, who steals it, what prices. Absolutely, I don't care about this, absolutely. We have water from the well, wood from the forest, we buy, we chop. Those that fall, we take, people bring it to us, and that's it. There's electricity, solar batteries.
And how is the carpet business going? Are people buying them?
Of course, we are working on it. Any business can't grow and live by itself. Only a weed can. All serious matters, they need to be taken care of every day to work on them. I live through this every day. This is a job in social networks, constant content output. Playing with colors, playing with ornaments, working with Kiev.
And who is your main client? Because it's the color itself, the patterns, the smells, so to say. Not so that they are not Instagram worthy, but not modern.
We have modern ones, absolutely modern ones. Modern, they are more monochrome. Architecture is preserved, but it is minimalistic. It's a completely different color. It's strict and it fits any modern interior.
Whether it's a loft or something else.
And this can be made custom. It can be made in different sizes, in a different color.
They are double-sided, right? Right.
They are double-sided. The trick here is that this technique, it has absolutely no knots.
I see that from this side and from that side too.
The thread is made in such a way that there are no knots. So it is necessarily to turn it over when using it to make it wear evenly. You can beat it, comb it, and turn it over. And so it can lie for years if you don't walk in muddy boots. It will always be the same. It practically repels water. It doesn't get dirty so much and doesn't require any special care.
You also make pillows, and there are bags, right?
To each collection, we can make embroidered pillows, knitted pillows, and woven pillows. You change the textile, your mood changes. You get a new mood in the room. We went around the villages looking for a good one so that it would be strong, so that it would be local, so that it would not be old. To prevent beetles from eating it. This lathe is called a half-turn.
Half-turn?
Yes, half-turn. It's 1.5 meters. This is called a sled. It's just 1.5 meters in size. All the gear is here, and we can theoretically stretch the base to any width we want. This is called the base. It stretches over there onto that roller. It gets tangled up there once, and then...
And you wind it up.
Okay. And there's 1 valley, 2 valleys through which it goes halfway. The 3rd valley is down there winding up.
Yeah, I see.
When you need to weave this, you can take it.
Wow!
And this means then to push, pull, release. Take it here, release. Open this a little bit. Close it.
This is really physically hard work.
This is very important. This must be repeated once more.
Everything is very clear, whether in the details or in this small label. Look at how it's sewn, how many stitches there are in the middle. How do you do business like this? It has to be cheaper, it has to be quick, but you still maintain quality.
Well, first of all, I'm a perfectionist. So, to release a flawed product into the world, that's impossible for you? Well, who would want that? Money doesn't interest me that much, to be honest. Another point is that we have a sense of quality.
So you prefer quality over quantity?
Yes. There are 2 of us. We don't need a lot. I take a thread, I put it on a spool. You thread the needle, this thread gets tangled up, just lays down. We untangle it later. We lower the presser foot.
It pulls the thread in.
There it goes. And this drives the thread to the previous thread.
And how much does it cost? Not very expensive.
Here you can buy it for $200.
Not so expensive after all.
You need to look for them because some were thrown away, some were eaten by beetles. Every hut used to have one. Everyone was weaving.
And where can I buy your carpets?
Well, you can buy directly from us on our pages, on Instagram and Facebook.
So, on the internet, right?
Yes, our online store is operational. You can order directly, call us, or visit in person. We deliver via mail. No problems there. Thank God there is now a developed logistics system. We deliver to any country.
It will come to any place. It's really cool. And everything is so clear. This bag is clear. Such a small one. You can see it's a craft bag. Can I buy a bag from you? It's the only one.
It's the only one. You will be the absolute exclusive owner of this bag. And I want to tell you, it seems to me it's not a coincidence that you're a traveler here. The bag was waiting for the traveler to buy it. because this is a bag for wandering around Ukraine. And I wish you best in your journeys.
Thank you. Cool, right? Amazing. So, if you see me at the airport with this bag, know that it's the only one in the world, only in me. Friends, I'm going to share a life hack now. If you want to taste that Carpathian craft but don't have time, then come here. Because everything is concentrated in one place here. Horses and carousels and all sorts of crafts. There's a potter here too. And here's a blacksmith and a real forge. And they are painting here. You can see what a real Hutsul house looks like. And here is the cheese factory. And of course, you can taste delicious food here. Here are the Carpathian medicines. A pharmacy, so to speak. Dimitra, well, cheers for Hutsulshkina.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's wonderful here. Oh, how it smells. And there's a lot done here for cool Instagram shots. Beautiful. Well, as you guessed, there's rafting here, and you can swim there. There's a hot tub, and there's also fishing here. Cool, there's also useful information, not just entertainment. A diaper decomposes in 250 years, plastic in 100 years, and a chewing gum in 50. Don't litter in the forest. Well, of course, Mulfar's hut. What are the Carpathians without Mulfar? Oh!
But singing is not working. I can sing for sure. I only stop singing when I get hungry. Excuse me, fine guess, but that's all I can sing.
Play the cymbals, if you please.
That's from the 16th to 17th century.
Oh my.
A rare thing.
Yeah, easy to say. Did they really talk in trimbits? Can I talk to the neighbors?
See that Hutsul house? That's where my godfather lives. He wants me to come for a drink, but his wife took his phone. He'll call me like this, and I'll sprint there.
What's the story? These are signals, not a conversation. Safety, fire, that's a signal instrument.
Yes, signal instrument.
This is a white Mulfar. It's visible. The energy was light and pleasant. Hello, hello, hello. And it's cool that animals are walking around. Horses, cows, goats, sheep. Look, little ones. Look how small they are. The picture, deputies and the budget of Ukraine. They fight for the tit.
Listen, come on, come to us.
to us!
Come to us, you'll be the third. Be kind, help us.
Please come there, this uncle asks you.
Two uncles are asking. Help! Let's go to the end. I'm holding on.
Yay! That's it, we won. Well then, these are the mighty Carpathians. See ya.